So Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 1. 5 straight wins at the start of the season for the first time in since the Invincible era? That's when we were good. If you go back to the Everton game last season, the last game of last season, it's actually 6 straight wins. Have we ever done 6 straight Premier League wins under Arteta? I don't think we have.
We've done them under Wenger.
Well, we've done 49 unbeaten. I think we.
No, but you know
about 6 straight wins. I think, of course, I think we've done more than 6 straight wins.
Actually, our best start to a season in my most recent memory was that it was the year after we were the Invincibles, 04-05.
Yeah,
that's when we started. I actually thought we would retain the league that year and go unbeaten. Bloody
and then we capitulated. Yeah, bottled it, some would say. But yeah, great start. 5-star performance tonight. Some 5-star performances from some of the players as well. Some of the players that we heavily criticised, that we called out at times, and we're going to get into player ratings in a minute. But we are currently top of the league. There's less than 24 hours to go until the transfer window shuts. As I record this at 10-1 on the 1st of September, Spaniel time, I've not seen no after-match talk. I don't know whether Ben White's injured. I don't know if Odegaard's injured. I don't know if Ramsdale's injured. What I do know is that we need to dip into the transfer market. Big up to everyone who's watched the fan cams. If you haven't, do go and check them out. And Jez, for anyone who hasn't watched yours, mate, give us a little breakdown of how you thought the game went tonight.
Yeah, mate, I'm buzzing about it. I thought that first half was absolute class. Some of the best football I've seen from Arsenal Football Club for a very, very long time. And people are gonna, say I'm flipping. I'm not. It's the fact of the matter is, I want my team to win. Always have wanted my team to win, and I was very, very, very impressed. And the fact there's fight, there's passion, and this is what I want to see from Arsenal Football Club, and not Arteta Football Club. Simple as that.
Fact. Well said, mate. Make sure you check Jez's channel out. Link in description. Same as on the fan cam. Kenny, you've made it home, safe and sound.
Yes.
And, mate, the atmosphere you said to me was electric.
It was.
The one thing I'm liking, and you'll know this better than me because you're there, live, active. Yeah, normally there's a fire drill with 8 minutes, 10 minutes to go.
No.
It don't look like that's the case this season, mate.
That's the thing. The thing about it is that at the end of the game, the people that I'm around always stay around. And there were times last season when they just stay, especially when it's Liverpool, both games in the, first of the League Cup and the league game. Where I've had enough of this. I'm off now. I'm off. And and even games where we were still winning, people were still off. They still weren't convinced. But this season, everyone's up for it. And as I say to you in the fan cam, I think it's a bit more than the fact that we haven't seen each other. Well, I say we, but royal we in terms of the fans. Since the pandemic in March 2020. I think it's just a feel-good factor. I think the pre-season games really, really whetted the appetite, especially beating Chelsea 4-0, and then seeing the performance in Sevilla in the cup as well. That really, whetted the appetite, and everyone just, couldn't wait to get there. And the thing is, proof of the pudding is, and I mean, and this is just facts. It's not an opinion. It's very hard for fans to get tickets to games now, especially home games. Away games used to be like hard to get tickets, but now everything's sold out. Silver members, and I repeat, silver members are finding great difficulty in getting tickets. Great difficulty. Like, for instance, everything's just sold out until we're not in the Forest game, and that's way into October. So there is a mass. Everyone wants to see us play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, mate, that could only be a good thing. Smash the likes up, people, and you know how this works. If you want to cry, we don't care, but we're going to give, or Jez and Kenny are going to give their player ratings, and then we'll do a 3-2-1. We all give the manager rating. Let's start with the goalkeeper. Jez ended up conceding a goal straight off a corner. VAR reviewed it, and I don't know why they reviewed it, because if anything, it was a foul on the player in front of him, because he tried to put him in a chokehold. But what did you make of it, and what did you make of him overall?
Yeah, mate, I'll tell you what, you don't very, very often see a goal scored straight from a corner. And I actually laughed at that.
Right, careful, mate. You're not allowed to do that.
Well, I thought it was great, actually. You just don't see that happen in football very often. You might see that once or twice a season. And but putting that aside, I'll give Ramsdale an 8. I thought he was rock solid. The way he commanded the defence again today, he's an 8 for me. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, okay, I'll get hated. The goal was brilliant from Aston Villa. That takes absolute class to score a goal like that.
And it was his first kick as well, wasn't it? He just come on the pitch. It was mad.
Yeah,
it's a player we're actually linked to, by the way. We're linked to him, £15 million. I'd take him as a backup because I think his level's above El Nini, but we should see what happens tomorrow.
It's a great goal. You can't deny that. I'll never take that away from any player. To score a goal direct from a corner kick takes quality. But I will still say Ramsdale was rock solid and 8.
Let's go to Benjamin White, Kenny. Somebody I've been critical of. Ended up going off for Tomiyasu. Not sure whether it was precautionary, whether he had an injury or not, but so far so good this season at right back. And again tonight, wasn't bombing forward, but wasn't defensively deficient either. I thought he actually played very well tonight. What did you make of him live at the game, mate?
Oh, definitely. I was very pleased with him. Very pleased with him. You know, one thing is that, you know, I know whether it's you know, he wants to impress in that position, but he's been really solid in that position. I can't fault him, especially today as well. You know, that was a very, very good performance. I don't know what's in their pre-match meals, or, you know, whether they've seen the right psychologist, but players like him are just stepped up to the plate. You know, I think he knows that, you know, if you perform less to your ability, unless your name's Bukayo Saka, you're not going to get a game, because Tomiyasu is looking fit and breathing down his neck, and it's bringing out the best in Ben. So I'm going to give Ben a 7 today because I'm really pleased with it. The reason why I'm not going to give him higher than a 7 is not because he didn't play well. It's just that, you know, he wasn't as tested as before. But even though when he was tested, there was no change. There was no overlaps down that left-hand side. And, you know, I couldn't see a more competent performance. Very steady Eddie performance, which I like. I prefer to sometimes the spectacular performance, because with steady Eddie performances, it's easy to be consistent by, you know, putting in these sort of steady Eddie performances.
Mate, listen, it's been a good start for him at right back. Let's move on to Kieran Tierney off of the back of a woeful performance against Fulham, Jez. He looked lively, he looked on it, he looked sharp. It was chalk and cheese from Fulham the other day, wasn't it?
Yeah, mate, I thought the guys were on fire. And I'm very, very, I mean, I'll be honest, the whole back four to me were very impressive. Love seeing him back, running forward, getting involved, getting those crosses in, fighting all the way. 8 all day long. Big up, Tierney.
Let's go to Saliba, Kenny.
You know, Saliba, you know, he's making things look really easy. I'm not saying he was the best centre back today, but what's happening is that when you watch him play, you feel, bloody hell, has this guy been playing for us for consistently for 2 or 3 years? He looks so at home in our defence. You know, he looks impregnable. You know, he keeps it simple. He defends. He doesn't do anything silly. You know, when it's the right time to pick, you know, get the ball down and pass it, he'll pass it. When it's the right time, just kick it in the Rossetti, he'll do it. And, you know, his timing, his tackles are really good. I'm going to give him like an 8.
Let's go to his partner in crime. Somebody that hasn't been great this season. Tonight, I actually thought he was pretty decent. What did you make of Gabriel?
Gabriel, I thought was immense today. I've said it last game against Fulham, and I said it before that. What I like about Gabriel, he seems to have learnt stand off a player. He's not right behind him where he can get spun and then he creates a foul. He seems to stand back a yard and a half, and that gives him time to get into the player, to make a good challenge. Yeah, I thought he's great, man. I thought he's great today. And as I said, all the back four to me were very impressive. 8 for me.
Let's go into midfield. Samba de Conga, first 15 minutes looked like a player that hasn't played for a while, Kenny, and then he grew into the game. What did you make of him?
I totally agree with you. I think with Sammy Lokonga, I think what's happened is that it was a good game to play him because, and I say this with great respect to Aston Villa, when you've got players like Buendia in midfield, you're going to get a physical battle. When you've got someone like McGinn's probably the only one who tried to throw a bit of physicality, but, that was from way too deep. So he wasn't really going to, be in that engine room. So Sambi had basically enough time to lit a cigar. He wasn't really involved and probably needed the first half because we were so on the front foot. But the second half, it just came to his own. He got confidence, like I said, and he was even part of our attacks, starting our attacks as well. So, it's an excellent opportunity for him because, when we get to the 11th hour, we know we need a midfielder. I believe if I look in the Daily Mail, sorry about this, I'm promoting. Yeah, but it seems like they're saying that we're in for a player. So, who knows what happens if no clearance is given and everything. This is an opportunity for Sambi because Partey, if he's got a thigh injury, and they say he has a thigh injury, that it's going to take a lot of time to clear up. And Nelly, again, it's going to take a lot of time to clear up. So, it's highly likely, even if we do get a midfielder in, there probably won't be enough time for them to clear to play at Old Trafford. So it's an opportunity for Sambi, and it'd be good for him to play against players like Fred, Casemiro and everything. But today I was very pleased with Sambi and I'm going to give him 7.
Let's go to Granit Xhaka, Jez, somebody we've all been critical of.
Wow. This will shock you. This will shock you. My friend Granit Xhaka, I thought today, guys, he was immense. I thought he was absolutely immense. And he was everywhere, battling. I like the fact now he's getting far further forward and he's battling, he's fighting, he's getting back. And I'm sure he's going to be down the Tollington soon buying a pub, a whole round of beers because that's the way he is now. And shock of the day. He's my man of the match. I'll give him a 9.
Let's move on to Martin Odegaard. Went off, looked like an injury in the end, Kenny. First off, gave the ball away a few times, but he's always one that wants to press. He wants to go forward. Some nice little passes as well. Second half, bit hit and miss for me. But what did you make of him?
Well, the thing is, Martin Odegaard is going to be a player we're going to need on Sunday because, with as I said before, it's a good opportunity to have a look at Sambi so he can learn from playing against players like Casemiro, Fred, and Fernandes and all that, especially in a big culture that Man United. But in terms of if we're going to win at our Man United, we've got to go for it because you win 5 games in a row. You don't go and see, it's Man United. You go there with a bit, push your chest out with a bit of confidence because, you are going to be on the cost at Old Trafford. And this is a guy who can slow the game down for us. And also, not only can he slow the game for us, he can open the door and create some chances for us. So I hope he's fit. But you know what I liked about him today was his work rate. He's tackling back. There was a nice little battle between himself and Buendia. When Buendia was holding the ball too long, thinking he's got enough time to pick out a pass, he robbed him a few times. Let him know, he's there. Gave him a good bit of a kick, showed a bit of toughness. I know I know it's a bit of an old-fashioned 80s thing, rolling your sleeves up and putting some bit of metal in. But, you have to do dirty work in midfield sometimes before you can play your football. And that's what impressed me a bit more than he's trying to make those passes. And yes, he did give the ball away a lot, especially, when he was on the sort of flanks. But, he has had a good season. He's not just scored goals. He has been creative, and he does still try and knock on that door. And let's face it, before we used to say, well, give Xhaka the ball and he win the game for us. But he's probably one of the players who've shone and been, how I say it, conducive to us winning games as opposed to before it was Xhaka. So I'm going to give him a 7 as well.
Let's move on to Xhaka, Jez. Missed an absolute sitter. First half looked lively compared to the Fulham game. Looked like he had full of energy, spun 3 of their players, got in, he was buzzing. But he is a target. He does get kicked. He is double marked, treble marked. Doesn't really get so much help overlapping wise. But no excuse for the sitter. And this season so far, he's not been great, has he? But he weren't great at the start of last season until Tottenham, and then he exploded after that. What did you make of him tonight, mate?
It's the sitter. I mean, if that had been maybe a more experienced player, Aubameyang, Pepe, I think they'd have scored it. I think he panicked a little bit, but he's a very, very young guy, and I'll give him license on that. I still think, personally, he needs some rest. And he gave a performance. He died off in that second half, and I'll give him a 7.
Let's move to the opposite side. Gabriel Martinelli, Kenny, scored the goal. Was involved in the Gabriel Jesus goal as well. He's had a good start to the season. The link-up play with Jesus, it looks like they played together for donkey's years, doesn't it? And he's full of confidence at the minute. What did you make of him, mate?
Well, I think this is probably one of his best games I've seen him play. And, because I think it's just an all-round competition. He's strong as well. He's got that sort of tiger about him, and he still has that sort of thing where he's doing what Xhaka used to do for us. Like, defenders, they don't tackle him. Like with Xhaka when he's best, when defenders went, if I touch this guy just one little bit, he's going to go down. And I think there's a little, I call it the Martinelli, where he goes in on the left-hand side and he doesn't actually cut in. He just goes in and he goes at speed into the near post, knowing full well if they so much as touch him, they're going to avoid penalty. So it enables him to have a shot because he's got that sort of turn of pace in the box. And, that had Martinez not done a sort of picture book save, I think we would have saw the goal of the season, that half volley, when with Grant Xhaka was involved in it. Plus, his goal was really well taken. There's a Xhaka assist anyway, so Xhaka's hasn't been part of the goals or part of the main performances. He did get an assist, and how my fans love an assist, but the way he took his goal, opportunistic, got enough on it, got the angle, made it difficult for the keeper. He took it early. That's what I liked about it. Some players would just sort of control it once and then giving the keeper enough time to get in position. But this guy thought, right, if I hit the ball early, the keeper's got a decision to make in terms of can he adjust himself to get that position? Because by hitting it early and not particularly cleanly, that deceived Martinez and got us a win, and that was a good finish. And as you know before, I know you said we had a poor bench, and in essence we have had a poor bench, but with the spectre of Smith Rowe, gnawing at his heels, and also he's gnawing at Odegaard's heels. He's another player that's performed really well and raised the bar. Confidence raised the bar. So I'm going to give him an 8. Could give him a 9, but I could give him a 9, but I think if Grant Xhaka is the man of the match, there's no good giving him a 9 when we've already given him the man of the match to Grant Xhaka a 9, so he's getting an 8. Maybe an 8.5.
Let's go to Gabriel Jesus, Jez.
Yeah, man. Look, this guy's class. He's absolute class. There was times a day he turned that defence inside and out, and I very, very, very nearly gave him man of the match, but I gave it to Xhaka purely and simply because I thought Xhaka's work rate was phenomenal. He was all over the park. He was doing exceptional stuff, and I you know what my views have been of Xhaka, and the guy's impressing me right now. Jesus, I thought was exceptional, and I will give him an 8.5.
Let's move to the bench. Smith Rowe, Kenny.
Yeah, something Smith Rowe. If there's a guy who badly needs a game in the Europa League, it's him, because there's just not enough time for him to do anything. The only thing Smith Rowe could do is just get into positions. Hopefully he gets he's in the right position to receive the ball, or hope he's in the right position to just be a body to sort of block out the passes and block out any sort of reproach that Villa want to do, could be in 2-1 down. So it's really hard to mark him because it's just not enough time for him to get in the game, especially when we're 2-1 up. So I'm going to just give him a 5. But that's not marking him down. It's only because it was very difficult to rate him. Because this poor old lad, he's meant to come on when we were 1-0, when we were 1-0 up, and then they scored, and then we scored afterwards, and then we break him on. So he was waiting patiently for about 4 or 5 minutes, wasn't he? And then he came for the last 10 minutes. So it's hard for him to make an impact.
Let's go to Eddie Nketiah, Jez.
Yeah, fair play. Guy came on, ran around a lot, tried to do something, but I'm sorry. This guy needs to sharpen up in his shooting. It's just not good enough. If we lose Jesus or Martinelli, and we have to rely on this fella, he needs to big it up now. And he's been given the opportunity to make a big mark in Arsenal, so he needs to step up. And I wasn't impressed. I gave him a 5.
Let's go to Tomiyasu, Kenny.
Well, Tomiyasu, I'm going to give him probably a 6, only because he did the first time I saw him doing an overlap. He did an overlap, and I was thinking, I never see Tomiyasu do an overlap, but he put in that great cross which got cut out by Konsa. But he's as solid as a rock. In hindsight, if the fate of God or the hand of fate, said, basically handed him an injury-free season at the end of last season and an injury-free pre-season, who knows what will happen? One man's misfortune is another man's opportunity. We just don't know. Tomiyasu was fully fit. Would we still have Benjamin White as the preferred partner for Gabriel? We just don't know, because he's handed Saliba an excellent opportunity. Although, judging by Saliba's performances in France, he probably should have been the first choice a time ago. But he's a player that we like. He'd be a good squad player, but I still think we need to get a right back. And that's no disgrace to himself or Ben White, which is an orthodox one. But for him, for that overlap, he's getting a 6. It's the first time I've seen him do an overlap.
Yeah. Let's go to last, but by no means least, Mikel Arteta's cheerleader, Rob Holding. He got his bonus for coming on. Jez, what did you make of him for the last minute or two?
5. Didn't see much of him do anything really, so I'll give him a 5. Fair play. The fella didn't have much time to do anything. I didn't see the point of bringing him on, to be fair. But yeah, he got his match bonus, and well done, and fair play. But yeah, 5.
You know how this works, people. Don't cry in the comments, because we don't care, because we'll be back again on Sunday against United. We're going to do a 3-2-1 countdown. If you disagree with our ratings, leave your ratings down below. Subscribe to Jez. Follow KennyKen1972 on Insta. You can do it on Twitter as well, but he'd rather Insta. And let's do a 3, 2, 1, 8.
8.
8.
Eight,
I,
eight, eight.
I think what's happened is that Mikel's had a very, very good start to the season. You know, he's had the benefit of fit players and good performances. You know, the situation with managers, right? They need 5 things in their favour, and only one of them is relevant. The most relevant one that he hasn't had probably for especially the first 18 months, and for a little bit of last season, is results. The most relevant thing he's got in his favour is results. You know, if you add on approval from the crowd, you know, approval from the board, you know, and you players behind him and the media behind him, you know, he's got 5 out of 5, but only one's relevant. So, for his sake, and for the sake of the football club, I hope the most relevant one goes in his favour, because it goes in his favour. We will have a very good season, win some trophies, and actually like the cycling challenge.
Totally agree.
100%, mate. We'll be back again later this week with the podcast. We do have a game on Sunday, so we need to get in the group chat and figure out when we're going to do this this podcast. Maybe Saturday, but we do have Manchester United on Sunday. And if Manchester United win against Leicester, all of a sudden they're on 3 straight wins. We're on 5 straight wins. Anthony 100 mil, Casemiro, Ericsson. All of a sudden, it's a big game. But we're gonna do a build up to that, or I'll do a build up to that. Jez, big up to you, mate. Appreciate you coming on again. Jez's channel link is in there, down there. Tomorrow, I see that you've got another Arsenal history and more update. Tell the people what you're talking about, mate.
Yes, I think I've actually put it back to Friday. I'll tell you why. Because it's deadline day tomorrow night, and I think people will be far more interested in watching the deadline day thing. So, yeah, it's all about the next bit of controversy of Arsenal Football Club with Sir Henry Norris and William Hall, the guys that got Arsenal in controversial circumstances re-elected Division 1, and Spurs got binned, and these guys get banned from football.
So there you go. Go and check it out. Arsenal history and more. Link in the description. Kenny, what you got coming up this week other than the podcast?
Oh, it's just a podcast really, and play ratings and everything. That's what I've got. You know, I think what it is that
no boxing, Kenny.
There's a fight on Sky Sports. You know, Liam Williams is fighting for the I think middleweight title fight, and I believe Fraser Clark is fighting again at heavyweight. He's probably going to do another 6 rounder. So I'll be watching that. But most importantly, obviously, we're going to be warming the cockles for Man United, because it's still a big game. Even when Terry Neal was a manager and Ron Atkinson was a manager, or, you know, it was still a big game. Well, they used to always beat us, but, you know, games between Man United and Arsenal always have been had something on it. Even during the Busby Babe days the Busby days in the 60s, when Arsenal were absolutely horrendous, you know, it was still a big game.
Fact. Absolute fact. Go and check out the boys. Go and check out the fan cams. I'll be back again tomorrow. Usual upload, stream, whatever you want to call it. I'm also live at 9 p.m. with Henry Wright TV, so make sure you check that out. And then it'll be a look forward on Friday with rants on his Twitch channel to Arsenal Manchester United, by which time they probably would have beaten Leicester. So it's going to have a bit of spice. So make sure you come and check that out. Until then, I'm out of here, people. Subscribe to Jez, subscribe to me, like the thing, share it around. If you don't want to sit there and cry, or if you do want to cry, we don't care. But if you don't want to cry, just leave your player ratings in the comment section down below. And yeah, man, it's all good. We'll be back again. 5 straight wins, 6 if you include Everton last season. We're in the mud. We're in the mud, people. Yeah, we're in the mud. And Mikel Arteta has proved us wrong. Well, let's see. Tougher challenges ahead, people, but a great start. Adios, amigos. Arteta fuera. Ciao.
Arteta out, you prick.
Arteta out.